Tell me we're live.
We're good to go.
Okay, coming straight out of Idaho Falls by what's it called again?
The green belt.
By the Green Belt, right? And here we have
Trinity Martin.
Trinity Martin, and today we're going to ask Trinity Martin about a few questions about, the new recent mayoral debate in Idaho Falls. How how much do you know about the candidates running this election?
I only know about Burton Shaw, and that's about it.
Okay, have you ever heard of Jeff Aldridge or Christian Ashcroft?
Ashcroft, yes, but not Aldridge.
Um, so do you know about their platforms, like
Not
what they're actually
really.
running for?
No.
So Jeff Aldridge, his platform is actually a kind of like a moratorium on development, right?
Mm-hmm.
His platform is basically, hey, we're doing too much development too fast, right? Property taxes are going up, you know what I mean? Too much is happening too fast, and the pre-existing residents of Idaho Falls are kind of like getting priced out, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
Honestly, I couldn't agree more. The price and cost of living right now is ridiculous, and most of the time, people's wages don't even match what the cost of living is.
Mhm.
So I agree.
So back before COVID, right, there'll be houses that cost about 125,000 or so, right?
Oh yeah.
And then, but after COVID and like development with apartment complexes or whatnot, land value just gone up. So some houses are that they bought for 120,000 would now be worth 400,000, right?
Mhm.
But their incomes stay the same. So, but they have to pay more property tax. How do you feel about that?
I think it's kind of ridiculous. They need to make a change about it, either raise the wages or lower it back down, because no one can afford to buy a house. And that's what us young couples nowadays want to do. We want to be able to start a family and buy a home. And if we can't make enough money to do that, then it's a problem that needs to be fixed.
Right. So Jeff Aldridge's campaign is basically, hey, you know, Jeff Aldridge is a newcomer, right? He used to be a visual design CEO or executive before this, right? And now he's running for politics because he realized that a couple of years ago that the Idaho Falls he moved into 10 years ago isn't what it is anymore, right? And if Jeff Aldridge wins, right, and let's say he decides to enact his campaign promises and slow down this massive, rezoning project where apartment complexes are just spring up anywhere, how would you feel about that?
Honestly, I feel like I'd be okay with it. I have no problem with renting in apartments, but I feel like we need more housing developments than apartments. We have enough apartments as is, and just no one wants to rent for their whole life.
Right. No one wants to rent for the whole. We want to own our house, right? We want a place that we call our own. We want our own yard. We want the privacy.
Yep,
Okay. Thank you. That'll be all.
absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Okay. Cut.
Thanks.
Not yet. Okay.
Okay. We're right here live from Idaho Falls, and today we have a few questions with Joey. Okay, Joey. So we've been asking around people about their opinions about Idaho Falls, right? The development, the direction the city's going in, how they feel about it overall, right? And I guess the first question we want to ask is, do you like Idaho Falls?
Yeah, I think it's a calm city. I think there's a lot going on here, keeping the peace.
Right.
You know.
I absolutely agree. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, right? So much bigger the city than this, maybe 10 times the amount of population, right? Much more development. Downtown's way larger, way more apartment complexes, right? And how do you feel about the way Idaho Falls is zoned right now, with the buildings, the houses, and whatnot?
Honestly, I don't know much about the zoning, but what I do know is in my research, which my research accounts for not Wiki or ChatGPT, but talking to blue collar workers in bars,
Right.
is that from everyone that I talked to, the city was supposed to increase its population like 2 or 3-fold within the next 5 to 10 years or something like that. And they were worried about the infrastructure. So,
Well, I'm definitely a little bit worried too, right? Because I'm looking at the size of these streets right now, and I'm trying to determine, if there's 3 times as many cars, because we barely got one parking space, right? Now imagine suddenly there's 3 times as much people, right? How do you feel about that?
absolutely, yeah. I don't know if they have the residential sectors for that or the parking for that, yeah.
So, do you think the road sizes will have to increase to accommodate this extra population?
It's going to have to, sooner or later. I think it looks like that's a good ways off.
Right.
But
Are you aware that there's an election in Idaho Falls in November 4th?
no, I'm not.
So currently there's about 3 candidates, Christian Ashcraft, Lisa Burton Shaw, and Jeff Aldridge.
Okay.
Lisa Burnshaw is more pro-development, right? She thinks that the development's inevitable, so she just keep on going.
Right. To do
Um,
it safely.
mhm.
Right.
Whereas Jeff Aldrich, he thinks that this massive increase in growth, right? From he's not a politician. He was a visual arts like manager, right? So he
Okay.
managed these visual arts projects for these large companies,
Right.
and he moved to Idaho Falls about 10 years ago. And from his perspective, the cities has grown too much too quickly, and that many of the residents, the pre-existing residents who have lived there for generations, they're being priced out due to property tax or just overall cost of living increases. Do you agree with that statement?
I mean, it seems like it's going that way. Absolutely. I've lived in multiple cities, New Orleans, New York City, in different neighborhoods, and I haven't been the most well off financially. So there were points where I was always getting pushed out of neighborhoods.
Right.
And I think that that unfortunately, and I hate to say it, it's kind of a negative thing to say maybe, but it's inevitable when growth.
But do you think this massive, development, right? Do you think it benefits the existing citizens, or do you think it benefits people who might consider moving here as like speculators or people who just want to live here for a season by renting apartments?
It's definitely going to benefit more with the people coming in for apartments, whether they're snowbirds or summerbirds or whatever the term is. I don't know what it is. But I think that there will be a top 10% in the city that will benefit from that many people coming in.
Right.
Mainly contractors, things like that. People who grease the wheels.
Right. Because my overall feeling is that the blue collar workers, the working class, right, people who, build up our society, those are the people saying, hey, I can't afford this, right? This brand new apartment complex being built next to my house, it's raising my property taxes up too high.
Yeah.
My income stay the same, but my taxes have gone up, right? Is that what you have heard from the bar so far?
It was. They said that it was heading that way. They could see the precursors of it. Yes.
Okay, awesome. And overall, right, how have you enjoyed Idaho Falls?
I like it. I don't think it's my speed. I don't think I'm going to stay here forever. But I'm here for a couple of months with helping out with my father and stuff like that. So it's been nice. It's been. It's hard to describe. I'm coming from the southeast, so this is a whole different experience for me. I love it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right.
Indeed. Yeah. Cheers.
Okay.
Cheers.
Okay, we're here in Idaho Falls. We have another interviewee. This is
Robin.
okay. So today we're going to ask Robin a few questions. Like, we're in IF right now. How long you been here, man?
Well, I've been storing stuff here. I live in Jackson Hole, or I did live in Jackson Hole the last 6 or 7 years. I'm actually moving back east to Baltimore, but I come out to Idaho Falls like a lot of residents do over in Jackson for, all the services, the shops over here. I was able to store stuff over here at like a quarter of the cost as what it would be in Jackson. Now that I've made the decision to move, I'm cleaning out. But if I was staying in the area, I'd keep my stuff here for sure.
So, yeah.
He likes it, yeah.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
a good phone. It looks so fancy.
Yeah. Okay, so you're here in Idaho Falls right now because the services are cheap, right? At least cheaper compared to where it was.
Yeah, cheaper compared to somewhere like Jackson, yeah, for sure.
So, are you aware that there's like a mayoral election coming up this November?
I wasn't aware for Idaho Falls, but yeah.
So if I could just ask, how long have you been using Idaho Falls as like services for, given that you've been in Jackson Hole for the past 7 years?
I mean, it's always fun to come out here, like, I don't know, go to a fun shop that we don't have over in Jackson, or a lot of people come out for like Costco and things like that.
Right, Costco.
But IF is cool. I mean, I don't know, the falls are beautiful, and Jalisco's right there is really good. So just like chilling by the river. Yeah, I don't know. People are just kind of people over here. It's like the big city compared to Jackson.
Right.
So
And given the fact that you've basically been coming to IF for the past 7 years, right? What have you noticed has changed?
Well, I was just thinking about this today. I was in a U-Haul to get my trailer, and they had a map of Idaho Falls, and I think it was from like the 70s or something. and it showed like this is where this business is and this business, and I was like, oh, that's not it's not where that is now. And also it was like, maybe half the size of what Idaho Falls is now. Like Ammon on the map was like tiny, and now it's huge, and that's where I got my tires from too. And so yeah, it's expanding, and I mean like anywhere, it's expanding. And I mean Idaho's interesting because like it's small town and mountainous, so you would think that a lot of people have been moving away because there's not as many opportunities. But a place like Idaho Falls, I don't know, might be seeing more opportunities over time. So yeah.
So in your opinion, do you think Idaho Falls has grown too fast? Because some of the local residents have been complaining that there's been too much development, right? Like apartment complexes going up to next to residential homes. How do you feel about that?
Well, in the United States, if you own property, you have the right to use it to its best, basically to its best, like productivity, to its, highest potential. And in our society, that means, making money, and usually. And so people are going to either want to live there or they're going to want to make money off of it. And so in that case, it's like, if the land is less restricted, like over in Jackson, there's not a lot of growth because all of the land has been developed already. It's 97% public land. Whereas out here, it's like, I don't know what the ratio is in Bonneville County, but it's, I'm sure, a lot less public land. So people are going to develop. It's basically impossible to stop sprawl unless you restrict, unless you change zoning, and, and that's not going to happen. So, yeah.
Do you think that if Idaho Falls keeps developing at the rate it is, right, it'll ever end up like a city like LA?
No, I mean, Idaho Falls is different, and I mean, everywhere is going to see pressure and water. This is a unique spot because they have the Snake River, so they're going to have water for a while, and it's Idaho, so they have the rights to it, as far as I know. I don't really know, but yeah, no, I don't think it's not gonna be like LA.
So overall, do you think this, increased growth and development, right? Like overall, do you think it has been more positive for the citizens or more negative?
Well, I mean, it follows an arc in most communities where, you kind of see these opportunities rise for people. People go in on it, and then a lot of people like cash out, move on to the next place. Then it gets overpriced for people. So like, if you want to live downtown now, maybe you can afford it, but in 5 or 10 years, it's probably going to be pretty wealthy, and you're going to start seeing luxury condos pop up, most likely. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I feel like for me, I'm a broke college student, right? I'm like looking at rent prices go up. I'm just like, man, this is brutal. And I live up in Rexburg, right?
Sure.
So I can imagine what living in a city like Idaho Falls, which has double the amount of population, what price it could be like in the downtown of Idaho Falls, right?
Absolutely. Well, and it's interesting, I'm moving back to Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm kind of deciding, do I want to be in these like beautiful little kind of suburb-ish towns, or do I want to be in the city? And actually parts of the city in Baltimore are like way cheaper. And Baltimore has a reputation, but like there's some good spots for not as expensive. So, but Baltimore is also a certain size, a certain age, whereas Idaho Falls has been, fishing and farming for a long time. So it'll follow its own trajectory, and I'm glad it's not like blowing up in the same way as like tiny mountain towns are, where it's like, okay, if you want a single place to live, it's like $2,000 for a room. But if people aren't careful here, it's gonna get like that. And I mean, some of the solutions I've seen are like, affordable housing, deed restrictions, making sure you got workforce housing, and honestly, just like, finding other ways for people to afford to live. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, awesome.
Cool. What were your names?
So I'm Benjamin. This is.
I'm Bryce.
Bryce. Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
好 OK OK
觉得还是很
OK
很
Are you
漂亮。
Are you filming?
Yeah.
OK 所以我们现在在 Idaho Falls 那边我们现在做这个 interview 你们在 Idaho Falls 多久了？
我们今天下午刚到，可能住一晚上，明天就离开。
哦
然后我们到了这里，感觉非常舒适，而且非常漂亮。
非常舒服
Beautiful，yeah，
对呀
很干净这个城市，
哦
那个它的环境也很好，没有什么污染，而且人文感觉也非常好。
所以我的爸爸是那个90年来到美国，他在那个纽约那边开始，
纽约。
所以我在那个在美国住，所以我是那个美国 citizen 啊，所以我现在在大学读大学，所以我想问其他人， 那个 Idaho Falls 呀，这些城市，你们感觉怎么样？
感觉非常美，还是感觉就是很舒适。到了这个城市，马上就感觉这个环境非常好。你们的建筑也很漂亮。我们因为今天一路车子过来看到的嘛，也有 building，也有小的那个 eco house 那种，挺好的。
但是这里有很多那个名人，感觉那个 development 变质太多了，所以现在那个房子比以前很贵了。
还有你们的那个博物馆 museum，我们本来想去看 museum 的，它的门票要$15才能进，我们就没有进了，因为我觉得这个门票好像有点贵，对吧？
对，所以以前的时候，那个 Idaho Falls 这个城市很便宜，但是这好多人想在这边住，所以他们开始那个做 construction 啊，做那个很多房子，所以现在有很多人名人感觉太多房子了，太贵了，没办法做那个
居住在这里，或者对，可能是不是你们政府的问题？就是说，可能它过度开发，或者是它提高那个物价，提高那个房子的那个价格，那么人家可能就不愿意来了。
对的，所以现在他们下个月做那个一个 election 呢，所以有新的那个总统一样的，所以他们感觉旧的总统把那个 Idaho Falls 变太贵了，所以他们想有一个新的
改革
change，所以下个月11月第4号有那个 election，所以我们现在做这个 interview，做那个 collecting data。
比较赞同
OK，
好的，
谢谢。
谢。
So we are here at Idaho Falls. We are conducting street interviews, man to man or man to woman.
Yeah.
Right. And we want to ask people, how they feel about Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
I know you're a visitor here, but you're from Italy.
Yep.
How do you feel about this place so far?
So far, I'm loving it. I love the green. I love the safety. Yesterday night, I was walking around and I felt quite safe. So that's a plus with respect to many other places on Earth. So you have a good thing going on here.
I'm actually from up north in Rexburg, about 30 miles away, right?
Yeah.
And Rexburg, my university, BYU, Idaho, is in the top 3 safest campuses in all of America,
Oh, that's
right?
great.
So we get news if there's like one carjacking. That's like,
Oh, really?
that's city
Yeah.
news right there, right? And Judge, you're from Europe.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you've been to places like Berlin, right?
Yeah.
So you've been to these like really developed cities, you lived in Europe, you had the whole experience. What do you think is different about it, Europe compared to, Idaho Falls in America?
It's a little bit more nuanced. When you go into these countries and in the city, like you have certain neighborhoods that are like absolutely incredible. And then some neighborhoods which are a little bit dodgy. And often the two of them are separated by like 10 meters. I don't know what is in miles or whatnot. I'm not good. I'm not good with like that calculation. But I think it's more. For the past 11 years, I've been living in Singapore, and Singapore, one of the main tenet is that it's very safe. Like you can walk around naked at 2 a.m. and nothing will happen to you.
Right.
And the difference is enforcement. So you know that if you do something bad in Singapore, you will punish for it.
Right.
And they are very serious. Also, it's easy because as a country state, I don't know if you're familiar, but they're like 6,600,000. So it's very easy to sort of like control. But enforcement is really important. So that's the difference, enforcement.
Well, I think in Idaho Falls in general, right, enforcement is a little bit less of an issue. I think that it's partially the culture, right?
Okay.
Because they're used to living in these small towns.
Okay.
It's a very high trust society, right? It's like,
Yes.
hey, I can't steal from this guy. I go to church with them
Yeah.
next weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, social bonds are super important, super important. That's why traditionally you see more crimes in bigger city and less crime in smaller city because the fallback of being the thief in a small country is usually high. So I think social bonds are super important. It's more like how do you scale that? And usually it's not possible. And that's why enforcement should come and supplement what should be like a good civil appreciation for civil rights and community bonds, as you said that.
So Idaho Falls, right?
Yeah.
You know, about 10 years ago, it used to be a lot smaller. And according to official data, in the next 5 to 10 years, population in Idaho Falls
Yeah.
can double or even triple.
Yeah.
How do
you
you-
can thank Yellowstone for that.
Yeah. How do you think the existing citizens of Idaho Falls, how do you think they'll be able to cope with so many new people coming in?
It's not easy, and I don't think there is a silver bullet answer for that. I think every city in a place where there is development will face the same. It's sort of like how can you integrate, because these people that will increase your population will come from outside. How can you integrate them and make them part of the social bond for which they feel they have something to lose from doing something bad? So integration, I don't know, like I generally don't know how Idaho is, but if it's like very family bonded, so like you don't hang from foreigners, that could be your problem. Because like if you don't extend the something to lose to other people that are coming and are trying to make create a ground here, it will be very hard.
Have you ever heard the term 15-minute city?
No, haven't.
So the idea of a 15-minute city is that, well, that's what they're trying to make Idaho Falls into, right? And the
Okay.
idea is that if you live in a 15-minute city, you only need to walk or bike 15 minutes to get all your needs,
Okay,
right?
I love that. Yeah.
Okay, but in Idaho Falls, right, where there's a very specific type of culture where the weather is often very hard, lots
Yeah.
of snow, right? Do you think a 15-minute city is possible?
I don't know, like I come from a place in which we have probably a 10-minute cities in which everything is available to you like nearby. But like, and we also have in many places harsh condition, like you mentioned Berlin before. They know what cold is.
Right.
It's more like for the way you're structured. I'm not a civil engineer, but like you're very spread out. And so how you can increase your public service, that will make, like, is there a bus here? Yesterday I was walking from here to a Motel West, which is like 20 minutes away from here. And then the first 10 minutes were like, yeah, hunky-dory. And then it was like a bridge, and then it was weird. And like, I don't know what people thought about like seeing this girl like walking with this backpack.
Right.
But like, how do you increase the public service, like buses and trains and whatnot? That will make the 15-minute city available to you.
Right. And I guess one final question is that in Idaho Falls next month, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be an election on November 4th.
Yeah.
And there's about 3 candidates: Christian Ashcraft, Lisa Burton-Shaw, and Jeff Aldridge. All
Okay.
3 of them want to support growth,
Yeah.
right? But only one of them, Jeff Aldridge, thinks that the growth should be slowed down to accommodate the needs of the citizens here, right? Because he feels that Idaho Falls is changing too quickly, property taxes are going up too high.
Yeah.
Houses worthing like 120,000,
Yeah.
they're now worth 400,000.
I know,
So
yeah.
the amount of money they make is still the same,
Yeah.
but the taxes they pay has basically increased by.
It's a tough thing. Like in Europe, we have the same. If you like, there are people in Barcelona, Amsterdam, Rome, Milan. I think everybody's sort of experiencing the same. Has to happen through compensation. So, like many citizens will be ousted, if you want, from the place, or wanted to rent a place out, and so you will have a downtown, which is like people that are sort of foreigners, and then an outskirt that will be people that were local. You need to do compensation. That's why, like, if you can extend the city center, like this place is not that big. With a bus, you can probably connect in 5 minutes. Probably that could be a solution, but you have to have compensation for sure. Otherwise, it will be growth for 5 years and then civil unrest for the rest. And again, I'm not an expert claimer. Like, you shouldn't take advice, geopolitical advice or like civil advice from me. But like, that's what I'm seeing in Europe.
Your English is great, by the way,
Oh, I don't
and
think so.
we're
Especially
very
after a couple of glasses of wine.
we're very grateful that you were able to give us this interview. Thank
Of
you.
course. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Are we live?
We're live.
Okay. You know, coming right here live from Idaho Falls. Today I have
Jose Escobar.
Sandra Escobar.
Okay, Jose, from what I've gathered, right, you live a lot closer to Idaho Falls than your wife?
Yeah, she's
Okay.
from Sun Valley.
Okay. So, Jose, uh, you're a realtor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have a lot of experience with like housing developments, apartment complexes, single family housing, right?
Yeah.
Um, so, first question we have is how much you like Idaho Falls?
I mean, I love it. I've been here pretty much most of my life. I grew up in a small town outside of Idaho Falls, which is St. Anthony, but mostly growing up through part of my life, I spent my time here in Idaho Falls. So, I mean, it's a great city. I mean, you have a lot to do. You have nature. I mean, you have the green belt, Snake River. So,
Right.
I mean, we come here to run and walk. So, I mean, neighborhood people, they're super friendly around here.
So one of the reasons why we're interviewing people on the street is to gather data, right, on how the people of Idaho Falls feels, because there's an election coming up next month. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Do you know all three candidates, Jeff Aldridge, Lisa Burnshaw, and Christian Ashcroft?
I mean, I've seen some of the posts for Lisa, not the other candidates, but I mean, I've seen some for Lisa.
Do you know any of their political platforms?
I don't.
Okay, so as a realtor, right, I'm sure you know that there's been massive developments all over Idaho Falls, right? Apartment complex coming up everywhere. You know, I bet that money's coming in, somewhat.
I mean, it's definitely coming in. I mean, from the aspect of real estate, I mean, we definitely need more homes in this market because, I mean, there's so many homes, and we got so many families that want a space to live, and some of them just don't want a townhome. Some actually want a home, but just the market value for homes now these days, and people with incomes, it's just not making sense for most.
Why do you think that homes have gotten so expensive as a realtor?
I mean, it's just the market value, and throughout, I mean, you had the times through COVID where you had all these people, flowing in from California, Texas. They were selling their homes, and they pretty much just marked up the price. Here, I'll pay $1 this amount. You have a, first-time family that can only purchase a house for $350. And you got this family coming in from California. It's like, oh, it's a nice house, only $350. I'll give you, 10% above asking price.
Wow.
And so, I mean, most of that kind of affected the price, and so little homes, and people still think it's that time frame, which it's not, and that kind of affected what price is now today for homes.
And what do you think about the increased, housing price?
I think he's a little more qualified to speak on this topic than I am, but I think same thing as him. A lot of people, it's great that there's all these apartments to live in, but a lot of people these days just want to buy a home. They think we're in the same market we were in before, and I think a lot of people are having a hard time coming to terms with we're not in the same market now that we were in before. And so I think this is just kind of what we're dealing with, and a lot of people are learning about now.
So from what I'm hearing is most people, right, especially people with families, right, they see all these new apartment complexes and they're like, hey, we don't want to rent forever.
Yeah.
We want houses, right? This is what we want.
Yeah.
So if one candidate, right, so wanted to stop the massive amounts of apartments and instead focus on, more single family housing, how would that make you feel?
I mean, pretty good. I mean, as far as for me, a realtor, it's a good aspect on my side, and it's a good aspect for first-time home buyers and people just wanting, good living. You look around every corner, mostly here in Idaho Falls, you see townhomes, you see apartments. You don't see no other homes being developed. So, I mean, for me, it's a good side. I mean, brings a lot more families into this neighborhood and to this city. I mean, it's Idaho Falls. It's pretty much like I said, neighbors all around. It's a good,
One of Lisa Burtonshaw's platform is that, the existing, development, right, is going to continue to the point. Have you ever heard the Imagine IF project or the Imagine IF plan?
I've heard about it. I probably haven't obviously gone deep into it, but I've kind of gotten some small stuff, but not very knowledgeable on it.
So one of the main tenets of Imagine IF is that they want to turn Idaho Falls into a 15-minute city, which means that anyone can walk or bike in 15 minutes and they'll get all their amenities, right?
Yeah.
But do you think that's possible in such a small town like Idaho Falls, right? And if they do try to implement this plan in which everything will be closer together, right, which means most likely more apartments for density, do you think that that's a good or bad idea?
It's a 50-50. If it wasn't apartments, it'd be a good idea. But I mean, at the same time, a lot of people need housing. So if it's apartments, it's going to help out. Yeah, 15-minute. I mean, I think it's great because if you're from Idaho Falls, you probably see Life of Idaho Falls, Life of Ammon. There's probably constantly people saying like, why can't we have a Brillam's, on the west side of Idaho Falls, or why can't we have a Costco on this side of Idaho Falls as well? So I mean, making it 15 minutes, a very great plan, and I like it. I mean, I would just be more happy if it was more homes, but if it's apartments, it's gonna be apartments.
And same way.
I mean, yeah, same thing. I haven't heard much as well of what was it, the plan called? Yeah.
Imagine IF.
Imagine IF, yeah. I haven't heard much about it either, but it does sound great to have all these amenities closer, especially I came from a town where I used to have to travel an hour to go to Costco, Walmart. Now living in Idaho Falls, I have like Costco 10 minutes down the road, and that's so much more convenient than driving an hour like I used to. So I do enjoy that aspect, and I think others might as well, but same thing, if it was houses and not apartments, that would probably be better.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest things I've heard citizens complain about is property tax. Because 10 years ago when they bought their houses here, it was only 120 grand for a house.
Yeah.
But now the same house is worth 400 grand. And their taxes have gone up, but their income has stayed the same. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's gonna happen as you get more development, as there's more building inside Idaho Falls. It's bound to happen whether people like it or not. It's a double-edged sword. I mean, certain areas taxes are still the same, slightly maybe a little bit higher, but with newer development, it's bound to come. Some people are gonna hate it, some people are gonna love it, but I mean, if you want the city to grow, it's it's gonna affect everybody.
How do you think the city should compensate the people who are already here, right? Who paid in the taxes to begin with, and now they seem to be almost priced out sometimes?
I mean, just give them a fair choice. Take into consideration what they have to say, and I mean that's what I would honestly.
Same thing as what he was saying. I think we need to keep into consideration that these people have been here a while, offer them an option. A lot of these people, sometimes they might have a home, they might want to upgrade, get something bigger, buy a new single family home, and sometimes it's just out of reach at this point. And so if we can offer something that is just kind of a middle ground that the city of Idaho Falls can help with, and that they can meet also in the middle, that might be great.
So some kind of middle ground between what Idaho is now and the Imagine IF, right? So more single family housing. Some apartments are okay, but not everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want Idaho Falls to turn into Boise, where it's like pretty much just compact everywhere, building and building. Like, I love the nature. I love how it's small, but it's a big city. And growing up here, I mean, a couple years ago, like, traffic was super easy. You can get down 17th within a couple minutes drive. Now it takes you half an hour to get from one side to one side. So I mean, as long as it's still the same, and we get some development, which is nice, helps everybody, but just not go overboard.
Right. Okay. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, of course. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So this will be,
Yes.
Are we live?
We're good.
Okay. Coming here live from Idaho Falls, we have.
Kaylee.
Okay, Kaylee. From what you've told me, you are a lifelong citizen of Idaho Falls. You have grown up here. You have seen it change. You basically lived it. You know it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So our question is, how have you seen the change of Idaho Falls in your lifetime?
Oh, well, I'm out here on my ripstick, and I have seen the past few years there is better spots for us to go out and be outside. I see a lot of the community starting to be outside more.
Okay.
I see after high school hit, most of us didn't go outside. We usually captivated, right? So here we are outside, and I see a lot of the kids I used to go with, and we're all starting to put mental health first, and I love it.
Okay. So I'm really glad that, all these people are coming outside, right? Idaho Falls, I got to Rexburg about a month ago, so I've been exploring the rest of Idaho, and Idaho Falls is gorgeous, right? Like, we literally have the fall right there, the air's so nice, there's no pollution, right? And right now, did you know that there's an election coming up next month for the Idaho Falls mayoral election?
I'm not very familiar with it.
Okay, so on November 4th, there will be 3 individuals are currently running for mayor: Jeff Aldridge, Lisa Burnshaw, and Christian Ashcroft. Do you know any of those names?
I don't. I've seen the banners out, kind of reading them, but
So that's part of the reason why we're doing the interviews, right? To gauge how the people of Idaho Falls, how they feel about the direction the city's going into, right? Some thinks that there's been too much development. Some people think that let's get it all in here, right? Why not? And I guess from your perspective is, in the last couple years, last 5 years, do you think Idaho Falls has gone to a positive or negative direction for its citizens?
I think it's been positive. I visit a lot of the recreational parks and small sceneries that we do have, and I see them growing and being cleaned up and taken care of, and more people visiting them, and I just love that.
Right. So the next question is development, right? Did you know that in the next 5 to 10 years, it's estimated that the population of Idaho Falls will double or even triple?
I did not.
And part of the concern of the city is, with all these new people coming in, how are we going to accommodate them, right? The infrastructure, the new buildings, everything, right? Because Idaho Falls, as it is it's a very small, city, right? There's only about 68,000 citizens here. And one of the concerns is property tax. With more people, there needs to be more housing, so more apartment complexes. And some of the citizens are worried that with this new development, if there's too much of it, that they'll be priced out of Idaho Falls. Do you think that's a legitimate concern?
I would be concerned about it considering my wages as a teacher and with a youngling. So I would be a little worried about that. I like to see the new, I don't know exactly the word, but the new bringings of new people here. I think they bring a good atmosphere as long as that's what they would like.
Right.
So,
And I guess when it comes to property tax, right? Some of the people, when they bought their house 10 years ago, it was only 120 grand. Now, their property is being valued as much high as 400 grand, right? Their incomes stay the same, but the taxes they pay are much higher than before. What do you think of that?
I guess we'll trust the process. I hope that it works out for all of us little families and individuals to grow. Each direction, I think there's pros and cons. So I hope the best for whoever and whatever happens.
Okay. Will you try to vote this election?
I will look into it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we are here in Idaho Falls now, and right now, we're interviewing
Kelly.
Okay. So Kelly, I guess we just have a few questions. How long have you been in Idaho Falls?
10 years.
10 years. Okay. So you were here before COVID-19 then, before all the development then, right?
Uh-huh.
So one of the things we've been basically asking people all around the park is, do they feel that Idaho Falls within the last 10 years have gone in a positive or negative direction? What do you think?
Negative.
And why is that?
There's, I think that the city isn't looking out for their citizens and they're not communicating with us. I've gone to city council meetings and they won't even, their rules are, you can't even ask a question about anything on the agenda at the city council, and you only have 3 minutes, and they don't have to respond to you at all. So they just pretty much ignore you.
So from what I'm hearing, Idaho Falls, this current government, right, this current city hall, they're basically kind of stonewalling citizens. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, and Lisa Burtonshaw, who's the president right now, I've asked her several questions on her Facebook page. She hasn't answered one. And I asked her why she's not answering, and she still hasn't answered. So.
Because from what I've seen, Idaho Falls is not a large, because I've been to large cities. I've been to Hong Kong, I've been to New York, right? Idaho Falls, from my data, has only about 68,000. And of the 68,000, only about 10,000 or so registered to vote. And of the 10,000 registered to vote, only about 5,000 or 6,000 actually show up to vote, right? So I feel like, given such a small population, I think, for my personal view, right, because I get it, if you're like the president, you're not going to talk to Joe Schmo down the street, right? But I feel like for a small city like Idaho Falls, elected officials should at least respond sometimes, or at least make it more available, right?
Yeah, for sure. I would think that would be easy because not very many people go to the city council meetings. So,
Because of like the 5,000 who actually vote, right? Maybe only 500 or so, actually go discuss politics with the policy makers, right? And speaking of policymakers and policies, have you heard of what is it? Imagine IF?
yes.
From what I've gathered, it's basically the idea that with this new regulations, right, it's this plan that allows for development in the city of Idaho Falls, and that with this new development, right, eventually Idaho Falls will become a 15-minute city by 2030. Am I getting that correct?
I haven't read it, but I've heard about it and read a little bit. And yeah, I think that one of their main goals is 15-minute cities. And I went to the last debate last Wednesday, and I asked Lisa Burtonshaw about that, about how she's talking so much about connectivity and what that really is about. And she actually said, yeah, it's for walkers and bikers. And that's probably like 1% of the population because
I think the data was about 5%, which means the
5%?
other 95% are cars.
yeah, and that's probably 5% in the summer, but in the winter,
Oh yeah, the winters
I
here get
doubt.
brutal.
Yeah.
I remember one night I was in Rexburg, right? I woke up and it was negative 10 degrees, right? Everything was canceled, and it was like, hey, if you're gonna go outside, you better be back in within like 5 minutes, right? And from what I've gathered, Idaho Falls, even though it's slightly warmer than Rexburg, it's still, they get enormous amounts of snow, enormous amounts of wind, and it's just, how is it going to be possible for the city to accommodate, you know, all this new development 2 to 3 times its present population without impacting its current residents?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So, I don't know for sure. I don't know. I don't think they're thinking about it enough, and they're not planning the infrastructure before the growth, and that worries me a lot, and I know it worries a lot of citizens.
Do you think that Idaho Falls, the government of Idaho Falls, is neglecting its present citizens and present residents for potential foreign investments and foreign um, newcomers?
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I think so. It seems to be the case.
As a resident of Idaho Falls, do you feel like you've been the city's top priority?
No, definitely not. And I really don't like how they're supplementing different businesses that actually compete with citizens, like the gift program, and that competes with Uber drivers. But they're taking our tax money and doing that, and I don't think that's right. That's not the proper role of government.
And I guess the final question is, it's basically been the theme of the night, development. Has there been too much apartments, right, and not enough focuses on families, on single family households where people can own their house for life, right, and get the privacy they need and own it, right? Do you think that the city of Idaho Falls is neglecting single families?
Yes, I do, and they keep saying affordable housing, but these apartment buildings are like $2,000 a month. That you could have a single family home and pay a mortgage for that. And so I don't think I don't think they have that in mind at all.
And for your final statement, you get to say whatever you want to the viewers, right? You can talk to them about what you believe in. You can talk about, the struggles of the people of Idaho Falls. And I'm basically going to give you a minute to, give you your soapbox, I guess.
Okay. Should I hold this?
Yes, go for it.
I just think that the city government here is very left-leaning. The city council, the mayor has been, and Lisa Burtonshaw has been on the city council. And they're left-leaning, but this community is not left-leaning. And I don't think they represent the community, and I don't think they've been trying to find out what the community really wants. And I really feel like Jeff Aldridge is our best choice right now, and also electing new people for city council so that we can have a better city, better communication with their constituents. And Jeff talks about that a lot. And I encourage everybody to look into him and find out about him and watch the debates that are out there. There's one on Rumble through Stand Up for Idaho. Anyway, I really encourage people to look into his policies and his thoughts.
I'm going to get an interview with all three candidates eventually, Lisa Burnshaw, Christian Ashcraft, and Jeff Aldrich. But currently, Jeff's the only one who's actually accepted my invitation for interview. If you want to watch that, please check out my podcast at Benjamin K. Mai on YouTube.com. Thank you.